Hey, welcome to Tell Me How You're Mighty, real talk about cheating. I'm Tracy Shorn, the blogger known as Chump Lady, where I implore people to leave cheaters and gain lives.
And I'm Sarah Gorrell, radio broadcaster by day, single mother of 4. And 13 years ago, my ex walked out on his family for his affair partner. And it didn't feel like it at the time, but my life is so much better without him.
And we're here to tell you that you are mighty. We survived infidelity, and you can too. And this is our podcast. Welcome.
Welcome to another edition of Tell Me How You're Mighty, real talk about cheating. And today, Tracy, we are delving into something that's happened in my own life. And this is what happens when your children experience what you have experienced. And there is suspicion that your child is being chumped. This is something that has happened to me quite recently, and we'll find out exactly how my daughter dealt with it. What I thought when I read the text that popped up that she shared with me, I have to say I'm very impressed with the way that she's navigated it.
Oh, she had a good role model. She had you.
Well, no, because I didn't navigate it well. I was a proper chump and beggar and a pleader, and so she's obviously learned that that's not the way to do it.
Were you saying you're a good example of a bad example? But you did eventually get out, so I think you are a good example.
It's so interesting, though, isn't it? Because I find it really difficult with my children's partners. You know, that what do you do? How do you deal with this? You don't want to interfere. You don't want to be the person that sort of wades in and says, don't. Although, actually, I have to say I was quite forthright in my views. But there's also that fear, isn't there? Saying, well, you do this, and then they get back together and you end up as the evil baddie or the awful mother-in-law or the person that's forever vilified because of your behavior.
Yeah, it's kind of a no-win all around, but I think you can bolster your kids. I mean, if somebody gets chumped, I mean, I have a big mouth. I'd be like, don't you dare pick me dance. You know, I raised you. You're worth way more than that. Come on. Don't be that person. I think it's okay to stick your oar in a bit. I mean, you can't tell them who to date and who to dump and all that, but I think you can validate them. And I don't know. I give my opinion. I would feel murderous if somebody chumped my kid. I mean, I think as a protective parent, that's where you go. You know, how dare you? How dare you hurt my child?
I think like anything, though, it's one of those things where that nobody ever says, oh, by the way, I'm cheating on you, so I'm ending this relationship. What we actually had was one of those predictable texts, a wafty text, I will only describe it as a sort of self-pitying, blame-shifting, all the signs of the fact that chumping had gone on, but no admission of it, and lots of, oh, well, if you just give me some time to think about it. Let's just put this into context. This text actually comes around as a result of the boyfriend had been very present, lots of communication, and suddenly he goes distant. So Jess then says to him, oh, what's going on? Is there someone else? Are you cheating on me? And this is what he responds.
I'm really sorry, but I am not 100% sure what I'm thinking. I was just kind of losing the plot on Saturday night because I don't think deep down there I have the spark in me for a relationship. And then I have been thinking about more, and I can't really shake that feeling. And I hate that because you're genuinely one of the sweetest and most caring people I've met. And it is really unfair on you that I've even thought this, but it would be even worse if I came to this further down the line. I need space. I'll reach out again when I'm ready.
And that's one of those word salady things where you think, what are you trying to say there? She asked the question, are you cheating on me? And then she gets all this
waffle.
Although my favourite response was when she said, are you cheating on me? And he said, I can't speak to you at the moment. I've got a Tesco delivery arriving any moment.
Okay, well, that Tesco delivery is so important versus the relationship. I don't know, what could be coming? That's insane. Well, he's a weasel. And he's so cowardly, so totally cowardly. How long have they been dating? It's the other part of the context here.
6 months, but this is like the first serious boyfriend.
Yeah. Oh.
He'd always been very devoted, very lovely. She said the problem was he was the perfect boyfriend, not the perfect boyfriend anymore. Is he? Stop it. You're not an option. And what I did say to Jess is I said, right, we need to get in touch with Tracy and get this put through the Universal Bullshit Translator to see what they make of it.
Yes, and the Universal Bullshit Translator is making a special appearance on the podcast today to decipher Jess's text. Shall we decipher it first before we hand it over to the crushing mandibles of the Universal Bullshit Translator? See what we think of it? I won't steal the thunder of the Universal Bullshit Translator, but my take on it is the guy's too dishonest for a relationship. He doesn't have enough adulting. And admittedly, they're young people, right? So we're grading on a curve. This isn't the same as if you married someone and you have a deep investment and all of it. But we all learn relationship skills. And this is where the training wheels come off. And you have to learn how to be an ethical person in your interpersonal dealings. And part of it is answer a direct question. Is there somebody else? That's his chance to be ethical and go, yeah, I need to end this relationship. I've met someone else. But even for a nanosecond, he doesn't want any discomfort. He's got that Tesco delivery. So he wants Jess to feel all the discomfort. And he also wants to keep his options open, which is really the most insulting narcissistic thing of all.
Well, this is what's happened, Tracy. So what we'll do is we'll run the whole text through the Universal Bullshit Translator in just a moment. So I won't go into more of the text. But what actually happened afterwards was that she sort of said, right, okay, fine, off you go, on your way. And this then provoked a series of further texts saying, well, I think we should meet and talk about.
Oh, no.
And also the blame shifting that went on as well. That I didn't want to say anything to you because I didn't want to hurt your feelings. You're looking after your grandmother at the moment and it's not the right time. And all this sort of excuses why, because of her and what she's going through, he can't be honest. So there was a lot of that going on, but it did really highlight the whole thought, because I think sometimes when you are cheated on, you read an awful lot of stuff. I particularly worry about my sons because it says that if you are the child of a cheater, then you are potentially likely to become one yourself. And I can't imagine any circumstances my sons would do that. But I just wonder whether it's a daughter of a chump, a daughter is likely to become one herself. And I have to say, from the way my daughter has dealt with it, no. She's blocked, she's moved on. And I think it's hard with modern technology. There are so many ways of seeing what they're up to.
Good for her. And I don't think, as far as I know, and all I do is read stories like this for a living, is I don't have any statistics saying if you're the child of a cheater, you're going to be a cheater. I think there's just living by example, and you're a good example. You left, you got out of it. Your kids saw your mightiness. You've been single parenting for, I don't know, most of their lives. So you're a strong example, and we just don't control the world. There's a lot of fuckwits out there. We just control ourselves. And children learn by example, which is part of the reason I tell people to leave these people, is you don't want children to grow up in that kind of dysfunction, because I think what's more likely is if you stay with somebody who's hugely entitled, then kids learn that it's good to be king or queen. It's good to have all the goodies and to have the game rigged in your favor. And they see the world as this binary of chump versus cheater. And they'd rather go with the power structure, because whereas if you're mighty and you leave and you're just like, I'm not playing that game, then there's a way out. And I think you're less likely to relive those dynamics. That's my feeling. That's the way I've lived my life. I wouldn't worry that there's some strange cheater DNA and like your kids got it. I think Jess is being incredibly strong. And for a young woman, she's got her head screwed on straight. And I think that's great, because I think a lot of women still to this day get messages like, you have to be coupled. You know, you need that validation from this guy. And she doesn't. And the thing is, he was counting on that. And I think that's why he's being weaselly. I think that's why he won't nail it down. He doesn't know if it's going to work out with whoever he is. And it makes me think, too, like when he was being the perfect boyfriend, was he being the perfect boyfriend to other people simultaneously?
Well, what's quite interesting, my son had a conversation with her. She said, I've blocked and moved on. And she said, I'm too good for him. And my son said, oh, you're full of yourself, aren't you? You think a lot of yourself. And she said, why not? Why shouldn't I?
Yeah.
I wish I'd been like that when I was her age. And it was quite interesting as well, because obviously the big mistake he made, and it's quite interesting when people are backed into a corner, was made some horrible comment about her friends, sort of saying, don't listen to your friends. And of course, now he's let it know what he thinks about her friends. So now he's insulted them. Doors have shut. Because she can't go back with him without antagonizing her friends now.
Yeah. I just want to come back to your son. Like, who do you think you are? So that you must think a lot of yourself. I would if that was my brother, slap him down. I'm like, what do you think I deserve? You think I should be some guy's doormat? You think I need to work harder to win back this jerk's ambivalence towards me? Like, what exactly are you trying to say here? I mean, I realize he's just joking around. He's a brother or something, but it's like, what is the message here that you're getting? Do you think, and what would you do in this situation? Really? Would you grovel? Would you beg? Would you stick around to be plan B? No, no, especially when you're a young person. I'm a chump, right? So that's why I'm chump lady, but I understand when you have years of marriage, when you have deep sunk costs, when you've had children with this person. I mean, the pick-me dance is much more understandable because you don't want to lose your family. You don't want to use this deep investment. But when you're a young person, you've been dating this person 6 months or something, and the world is your buffet. I mean, there's so many options out there. Like, no. Let them go. And you shouldn't pick me dance even when you're old and your options are going to be living in a box. So you shouldn't ever do it because you deserve self-respect. But certainly not when you're a hot young woman with many options. No.
Okay, so it's time now for the Universal Bullshit Translator.
I'm really sorry, but I am not 100% sure what I'm thinking.
Translation. I don't know whose brain this is. I cannot be 100% sure where my penis has been. This isn't a fuckwit problem. It's an existential crisis. Hashtag sad sausage.
I was just kind of losing the plot on Saturday night because I don't think deep down there I have the spark in me for a relationship.
Translation. I'm not available for a relationship, but until you question me, too gutless to say so. But I am up for no strings attached sex and feigning commitments I have no intention of honoring.
And then I have been thinking about more, and I can't really shake that feeling.
Translation. You demanded accountability, but let's pass it off as me idling meditating.
And I hate that because you're genuinely one of the sweetest and most caring people I've met.
Translation. You chump easily, because you bond, and I'm much more superficial.
And it is really unfair on you that I've even thought this, but it would be even worse if I came to this further down the line.
Translation. I'm going to act like it's noble that I didn't let you invest in me further.
I need space. I'll reach out again when I'm ready.
He has asked for space. Translation. He'd like her to be plan B. Fuck all the way off. And says he will reach out to her when he is ready. Dude, you are not that special. Get over yourself. Yes, it's official. That's bullshit.
Right, let's see, because we had a couple of comments about this of people who's also experienced the when your children are chumped.
This is Zoe. My 20-year-old daughter has been chumped by both of her boyfriends. She found out her first boyfriend was a serial cheater when we didn't know about her dad's affair. My now ex minimised it, saying, well, he's only young. He was in the middle of a 2-year affair himself at the time. Her second boyfriend helped her through the aftermath of her dad's affair, only then to cheat on her too. It was devastating, as he had seen what she had gone through. I helped her through it whilst going through it myself. She's proud of me, and I'm so proud of her. I'm glad I'm her role model, not her fuckwit dad.
So for Zoe's daughter, I feel sorry for a girl who's only 20 and has had 2 fuckwit boyfriends already. And this is what I mean by there's just a lot of these people out there, sadly. So learn your jujitsu skills now about how to get rid of them and defend against the mindfuckery. I think the second one is worse because he's there through this crisis, this divorce of the dad cheating, and then he goes around and does that too. Ugh.
And I think as well, what will have happened is this second boyfriend will have portrayed himself as this wonderful person that completely understands, that would never do that himself. And then they do. I think one of the things that cheating does to you, it makes you wonder whether you can ever actually trust anybody.
Yeah, I would be so wary if I was that 20-year-old. I mean, look, we're human and we bond and, we want to believe the best in people and we want to believe how they're presenting themselves. But I tell people date for character, take it slow, or just take it casual. Just don't invest a lot of meaning in these things. It's hard though. I think if you're a feeling person, it's hard to be casual about your situationships or whatever the heck this is with these stupid young men who keep cheating on her. I just wish people would be honest and ethical. That's the thing. If you're playing the field, then you just got to come out and say, I'm playing the field. You will find like-minded people who just want to play the field and don't want anything serious. It's just that I think fuckwits can't resist the devotion and the attention and the one-sided monogamy. I think that's what they're looking for, that you're so into me. And then kind of enjoying the power balance of that. And then they get to do the dumping or not, or the cake eating. And that's what you want to avoid. Because these days, there are people who are into non-monogamy, especially if you're young. Find one of those people. Don't pretend to be somebody's boyfriend or girlfriend. Nuts.
Right, so we've got another one here, and this is Nanda.
My 19-year-old son was chumped by his first girlfriend. She dumped him via phone while we were on vacation with our family, accusing my son of cheating on her. This was a few months before we found out that his father, my ex, was a serial cheater. I will never forget my fuckwit indignation that his son was cheated on. He vilified the girl. His son now wants nothing to do with his father. I wonder why.
Oh, you used to love the cheaters who are so offended by cheating. How dare you? How dare you cheat on my child while this guy is literally having his affair while he's indignant.
This reminds me of a story I wanted to tell you about. So my daughter went off to see Oasis with her dad and the woman that he married, and they were talking about the Coldplay incident.
Oh, really?
They were very disapproving of anyone that had affairs, despite the fact they'd started their relationship with an affair. And she stood there and thought, hang on a minute, are you living in some sort of fantasy world here? Say anything, but she did say to me it was all very odd hearing them talking about this Coldplay incident completely.
Oh, come on. As a teenager, this is your chance to go. And how did you meet? Tell me again. How did you meet? Oh my God. Do they have some new narrative about we just waited till we were both divorced and then we happened to fall in love? I guess she was single, but that's just, wow. Talk about a lack of self-awareness. Holy moly.
Right, we've got somebody else who's shown exactly how you do it. This is Kate's almost 20-year-old.
My almost 20-year-old broke up with her boyfriend because he couldn't stop watching porn and lying about it. I thought that was mighty. Yeah,
I like that the 20-year-old, the lying is not acceptable to her. If you'd rather be with your pixels, off with you. If you want to be with your fake girlfriends, okay. But I don't have to be part of that. Good for her. Have boundaries, know what's acceptable and what's not acceptable to you. I always get asked to go down is the porn cheating rabbit hole. And I just think, decide what's acceptable to you. And to this 20-year-old kid, the fact that this guy would rather be jerking off to pictures instead of her, yeah, that's a deal breaker. Okay, good. Bye.
Or else you could end up in this situation. So we're going to conclude proceedings with our fuckwit of the week. And it's always one where you're sort of aghast really at the level of competition for this. But should we hear today's offering?
Yes, this is a sort of a straggler entry from the How I Found Out. But it was so special that we nominated it for fuckwit of the week.
They're shameless, unreliable, and gobsmackingly entitled. It's fuckwit of the week.
I received a pocket dial while I was in a meeting at work where I heard my husband receiving a blowjob from another man. And then I thought, okay, he's gay. And I thought, okay, this I can get through. But it opened up an iceberg of deceit and lies and 2 and 3 extra lives he was living. It was terrible, and one day I will sell the rights to Netflix and become a billionaire.
Oh, that's a fuckwit!
Oh my. I mean, can you imagine being in a work meeting when you get this audio recorded, whatever the heck is going on? Oh my God. Excuse me, I need a moment. I need to exit that meeting really quickly. Wow.
Again, but it highlights that I don't think that they will be alone. I think a lot of people have probably experienced finding out in a similar fashion, but there's not much you can do with that, is there really?
Yeah, and there's the fact that she finds out, she thinks, okay, well, he's gay, so nothing to work with here. And then she reveals what double, triple lives. It's like way worse than she knows. I mean, because look, getting a blowjob from a man and butt dialing your wife while you're engaged in this intimate act is bad enough. But to find out that it's worse, like a bazillion times worse, I don't know. Yeah, I think maybe you should call Netflix. There are a lot of these stories out there, but they're not represented well enough from the chump point of view. So Netflix, if you're listening, give this woman a show about her story because she deserves it after living through that. Reach out to us. You can check us out at tellmehowyourmighty.com or check out the blog at chumplady.com. I'm always open to your suggestions there.